Hey guys, Akil here. Welcome back to another episode of the Trading Coach Podcast. Today, we're going to talk about taking time away from trading, not being a tradeaholic or workaholic. I know this is something that is very difficult for me personally. In today's episode, I'm going to share some stories about how I'm trying to better myself on that aspect of things. But I know it's something that many of you guys struggle with as well, because a lot of successful people, and if you're listening to this, you plan on being successful, a lot of successful people like to always have their foot on the gas. And well, that's not always a good thing, but we'll talk about that more once the episode starts. All right, start it up. That was another thing we spoke about with in yesterday's coffee break, was about the shift that traders make to you start trading for financial freedom, you start trading for time freedom as well. And then you get so engulfed in what you're doing that you no longer do the actions that are pushing you towards that time freedom. So like think about this. So if we say, it's kind of like the book, you guys ever read the book Cash Flow Quadrant? Cash Flow Quadrant. It's basically I don't know what the name is. The second version of Rich Dad Poor Dad. The prequel's before the sequel. There we go. The sequel to Rich Dad Poor Dad, right? Which, little known fact, Rich Dad Poor Dad was the first book that I ever read, like actual front to back. Like I read some books in high school just to kind of get like the answers, but like it was the actual book that I read. I remember my dad gave it to me, I think after freshman year at college. And I was up on college early because I played sports. I had nothing better to do. And he was like, yeah, read this. And like, I typically take what my dad says seriously. So my dad tells me to do something, I do it, because he's usually spot on with stuff. And I read it and I was like, man, changed my outlook. And then later in life, I read Cash Flow Quadrant because I was obsessed with being an entrepreneur, right? I was obsessed with like learning how to make money work for you. Richest Man in Babylon is a good one too. Make Your Money Your Slave. That's an underrated book no one talks about. And I still haven't gotten it back from my friend. But Richest Man in Babylon is a good book for children in a way, because it's like a story. But yeah, no one ever talks about it. But so I wanted to be self-employed, right? I always had all these business ideas. I always did these little side hustles, right? I wanted to be self-employed. And because when you're self-employed, right, you the boss, right? You're the boss when you're self-employed. No one can tell you what to do. And I never thought about this aspect of being self-employed. When you're self-employed, right, and people usually get self-employed for one, they don't want to have a boss. Two, they want to follow their dreams. But a lot of people do want freedom of time, or at least they should want it. But if you're self-employed, meaning that you are the boss, you are the owner, you are the employee, your business doesn't run unless you're working. So what happens is that many self-employed people who want this time freedom and financial freedom, they can't actually achieve it, because if you're running like a mom and pop store, that store, if you take a day off, that store isn't open. If that store isn't open, you can't make money. Now, things have changed since that book, right? This book was written not well before the internet, but this book was written before like online businesses took off. So it's a little bit different now. But the fact was that he titled self-employed and entrepreneur in two different categories. Mom and pop stores are like neighborhood stores. So like not like your big brands, not like Walmarts and stuff like that. McDonald's, just like if like Orsi's coffee shop instead of like Starbucks. Yeah, we call it mom and pop stores. Like back when local communities had local people running stores, you'd commute to there, you'd go to the person, hey, Mr. John would know you, and all that fun stuff. Yeah, not like, hey, I'm just gonna go to Walmart and give it to big business, stuff like that. But it's a little bit different now because of online businesses and whatnot. But the fact of the matter is, the difference between being self-employed and being an entrepreneur is that when you're self-employed, there's a direct correlation between time and money, right? time that you are working and money that you make, right? When you put in X amount of time, you make X amount of money. Entrepreneurism, right? Or business ownerism, they're both kind of in the same category. That is the ability for you to produce money without the time element, right? And that's really the dream that we want to chase. We want to investing is the same thing, right? When you're investing, you're making money without actually putting in the work, right? Cody's sitting back and oil is printing money for him and he's not actually doing anything right now, right? That should be the goal. So a lot of us get into trading because of that goal, where it's like, hey, we want to be investors, we want to be traders, we want to have this time freedom, we want the luxury of, you can trade the financial markets, it makes money while you sleep, all that fun stuff, and it actually does. But the thing is, sometimes we get so deep in, especially in the beginning phases where we have to work so much harder to get the ball rolling. We get so deep in that we end up feeling like we need to spend every single hour in the market. And if we spend every single hour in the market, are we actually accomplishing the goal of buying ourselves freedom of time? No, right? And sometimes it becomes the opposite, right? So many stories out there of families that have been wrecked because, and not just trading, but any kind of journey into entrepreneurism, right? Because you're so invested in that craft that you ignore everything else and you destroy your family, you destroy your friends, right? You're doing it for good reasons because it's your business that you're growing, but you don't have that balance. You're off balance. And then you end up achieving your goals. And this is why you see so many stories about like these super rich millionaires and billionaires that like are they hate life, right? You end up achieving your goals, but you burn everything around you down in the process. Right? You're so focused on your goals that you've got a divorce, you've lost your kids, your friends don't like you anymore, right? And now that you've got to that goal, it's like, I got to that goal. Now it's time to enjoy myself, but there's no one else left to enjoy it with you. So the balance is so key. So it's important to not feel like you have to grind every day, right? When I day traded, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I took off Fridays. I don't know if you guys knew that. Probably did because you listen to the Trading Coach podcast. But I took off Fridays, yeah. Like I never day traded on Fridays. Once I got good at day trading. Like in the beginning, I was trading 24/7, whatever like that. 24/6 and a half. But yeah, I never day traded Mondays. I never day traded Fridays. Those were my days off. Those were my days to do other stuff, get away from the markets. Yeah, so scheduling in and saying, hey, bank holidays, I'm not trading. That's fine, yeah. Or you say not actively trading, right? If you're a swing trader, it's a little bit easier anyway. You're probably just doing analysis and whatnot. But yeah, it's good to schedule those times off. You don't feel like you have to be in front of your chart 23 hours a day. It's all about that balance. All right. So going back to the pound Aussie here. Yep, you forget why you started in the first place. Man, yeah. I can tell you so many stories. That's my biggest fear too, because I am someone that I like the work. Like I like the grind. Like it's weird. Like I told my, so this weekend I went to we had 2 cookouts, right? It's Memorial Day, right? So we eat a lot here in the States on Memorial Day. Went to 2 cookouts on Sunday and Monday, back to back. And I was proud of myself, right? I was proud of myself because I worked Monday too, right? We had a Q&A Monday. I was proud of myself because usually what I would do is I would say, you know what? I can't go. I got to do some back testing. Or I can't go. I got to do this. I got to prep for that, right? Because me personally, right? I'm not the most social person in the world, right? I mean, I'm social once I get in social situations. But if you gave me a choice between like, hey, go to this barbecue and hang out for 5 hours versus get 5 hours of work done, it's going to sound weird. I would pick get 5 hours of work done. I don't know if any of you guys are like that. Like, I don't like feeling unproductive. Like that, I feel like time is so important. I feel like, hey, if I'm spending 5 hours at a barbecue, I just wasted 5 hours of testing, of strategy development. And I'm never going to get those 5 hours back. Now I'm 5 hours behind, right? That's how I operate, right? I'm very driven to do stuff. But that is a negative, right? So I have to force myself, and I'm glad I went to the barbecues. I enjoyed myself, but I have to force myself to get away from work because it's very easy for me to get sucked in and ignore everything else. It's very easy. So I was proud of myself that I actually, it's funny. Some people, like, it's hard to get them to go to work. It's hard to get me to not work. But that's a part of the balance because, again, I burnt down a lot of bridges when I first started my trading journey. I wasn't playing when I said 12 hours a day. I was focused on the markets. And I had a lot of friends that were going out and, hey, Akil, you want to go out? No, I'm good. Hey, Akil, you want to go out? No, I'm good. And then, like, eventually they just stop asking. I'm telling them no every week, so they just stop asking. So that happened. That happened. Luckily, I have a good wife who supported my dream, and she stuck with me. But it can ruin that as well if you're in a relationship, right? If you're not paying your significant other, your partner, enough attention, or your kids enough attention, right? So it's a balance. It's a balance. Now I just bring my laptop to the club. I post up at the bar with the laptop. Winning trade. Rounds on me. No. It went back down. Sorry. I didn't get filled. Cancel that. I didn't get filled. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope I inspired you to sometimes just take a break, relax, enjoy life, reap the benefits of what you've been working on. And also, a little plug here, if you haven't done so already, check out my YouTube channel, not the normal one, but Akil Stokes Shorts. If you're into those kind of quick tip videos that I put out on social media, Instagram, you see them on Twitter, you see them on TikTok. There's a bunch of them on my YouTube short channel that you can blow through. They're a minute a piece, so short, sweet, and helpful. Check it out. YouTube search Akil Stokes Shorts and make sure you subscribe.